WEF representing Palace, so let's tell you about Palace. Rolling straight to the ceiling, crowns and crystals, top like journeys, dishing out malice. Hold up, South London's grandest, far from bandits. Everything earned for a goal of elevation, just passing the team over here might finish out bright future, we can't vanish. SE25 any day, that's sellers. Rev up the engines, no more reverse reactions, fan cams, bands on stream. Share up the team, support the dream team when Eagles fly, make noise and scheme. Dare to dream or dream to dare, taking a step to become supreme.
Yes, guys, welcome back to Eagle Eyed Football and welcome back to another live stream. Today, we are going to be doing a Crystal Palace match preview for our upcoming game against Manchester City on Saturday at 3 o'clock at Selhurst Park. I am joined with the chairman today. How's it going?
Yes, it's a long week, isn't it? When you've got a midweek away game, but you getting back at like midnight. We still got to go work next morning, but hey, it's all worth it.
To get home and edit.
Yes, but it doesn't matter when you get 3 points in the bag. It's all worthwhile, isn't it?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, it was a good away day. To be fair, I enjoyed the journey. Weren't too bad. We caught all our connections. The away pub was great. I just wish it would have been in the summertime, but it is what it is. It was still a good away day. And to be fair, we got a win. Cannot complain. Even if, obviously, if you make that kind of journey and you lose, you think, oh, what's the point? But because we won, it makes you think, oh, man, I'm really happy I was there. New ground for me as well, personally. So I can check that one off my list as well. So, yeah, overall, amazing away day. I enjoyed it. Got 3 points, which is exactly what we needed. Don't really care how we got it, but we just got it.
Yeah, definitely. Probably the coldest have been this year as well.
Oh yeah, it was really cold, wasn't it?
It really was.
Have you seen that image of Eze at the corner flag, and he's literally just steaming?
I know. Yeah, I saw that. The Palace side actually. Yeah.
I'm thinking, wow, I don't think it was that cold, but
It really was. Yeah.
But
definitely.
looking at that game now, what do you think's the main takeaway from that? Because for me, it was that obviously you need to learn how to win 1-0, and that's the first time we've actually done it this season. We've actually kept a clean sheet as well.
Second, yeah, we beat Tottenham 1-0, didn't we?
Yeah. Do you think that's like something that I wouldn't say we're getting good at doing at winning 1-0, but do you think that is that the only positive that you can see from the Ipswich game, or is there other positives as well?
It's funny, really, because when you're there and you're winning 1-0 and you've got like 20-25 minutes to go, you get very, very nervous, and Ipswich look better than they actually were. Now I've watched the highlights back, I think we probably just about deserved it. Apart from the one that hit the outside of the post, I think we had it sort of fairly under control. But yeah, I mean, we've been saying this. I think from the Villa Cup game, I think performances have been there, innit? Things are turning, aren't they? We had a couple of slip-ups, sort of Villa in the league game and the Wolves, but generally, I think we're defending better. I think the defence is protecting, the midfield is protecting the defence better. We just got to learn to put the ball in the net. I mean, again, we won one at Ipswich, but had probably 3 great chances, didn't we? And I've got to say, again, watching the highlights back, Eze did scuff it, but the defender did get a foot to it, didn't he? And he took the sting out of the shot. And from where we were, standing, it looked all the world up and Teta scored a second, didn't it? And I think the keeper was very, very lucky. So yes, our finishing is not great, but we're not getting not a lot of luck as well. But maybe things are starting to turn because, out of the bottom 6, I'm not being biased because I'm a Palace fan, but I still think we are probably the strongest team in the bottom 6. We just got to start showing it.
Mm-hmm. I think there's also a change in mentality as well, because for me, if you look at how we played in the Forest game, where we played away at Forest, and then the game where we played away in Ipswich, you can tell a huge, huge difference there. In the Forest game, we were literally just shooting from some stupid range because we couldn't work the ball forwards. Now we're able to work the ball forwards and get ourselves into good shooting situations where you should be shooting. But then we have a slightly different problem where we can't pick the right thing to do, where we'll be in a shooting position, but then we'll pass. So there's definitely a improvement because we're not just shooting just for the sake of it because we can't do anything better than that. So definitely an improvement. You can tell the players are a lot more confident now. But it's just decision making in the final third, final pass, this, that. But to be fair, that's historically been bad for Palace. And I think the only time we've ever been good at it was at the end of last season.
Well, I think it's a lot of other things, isn't it? I think it's moving the ball quickly, isn't it? If you move the ball quickly, you can make space, running off the ball, making space off, and then you can work into good areas.
Quickly, anyway.
Yeah.
Big up, Animal. Big up, Sean, saying, my prediction, we will win 3-0.
What's he smoking? I'll have some of it.
I spoke to Chairman early on the phone. And at work, I was chatting with people, and they were saying, "Oh, have you got on the weekend?" And I said, "Man City at home," and everyone said we're going to beat Man City. So you know what that means. We're going to get destroyed by Manchester City because the second that neutrals start thinking that you're going to beat a big club, you know what's going to happen. Everyone's eyes are going to be on that game, and that big club is going to destroy you. It's going to happen. Oh. Yes, Nate, how's it going?
Yes, JC. Yes, Chairman. What are we saying?
Okay,
all
Nate,
good,
okay.
Man, all good.
Yeah, I'm all good, Neil. I'm all good. Just not looking forward to tomorrow. Cause,
Who is?
When I seen the players they have out, I said to myself, that should be good news, but it's bad news.
Yeah.
Because the depth they have, they're allowed to lose those players and still snot us. So, pause just in case. But you get what I'm saying. It's just, why do we have to have this run now at Christmas? Like, it's bad enough this season's been, pardon my French, DS, not even BS, DS. But it's just, brother, it's just, no, I can't do it.
One thing I can say,
with
Nate,
Man City as well, because their first team doesn't get injured that much, these guys are going to be able to play now. They have something to prove. They want that first team spot. So they're going to be playing out of their skin.
Yeah.
And also, I don't know if you heard what me and Chairman were talking about at work today. Every single person that I was talking to, they said Palace are going to beat Man City. And you know what happens when neutrals think Palace are going to win? We're going to drop a stinker.
Yeah, I mean, facts. I mean, every time someone says to me, I'm going to put my bet on Palace, I went, I hope you like losing money because I don't back my own team in bets. That's how much I know Palace are not the team to back in bets. So, I'm actually dreading 3:00 tomorrow, and thankfully I'm at work. But I'm just gonna lock off my phone and not pay attention to my phone the whole time, because I mean it's the live game over here as well, so I could actually watch it at work. But I'm like, no, I don't want to put myself through that. That would just be painful. So no, I can't do that.
So we didn't actually get your thoughts on the Ipswich game. If you had a reaction, what's your thoughts on that game before we actually go on to the Man City game? Because we didn't have enough time to review it this week.
Ipswich. I mean, I was worried about that game because I saw our record against them from the last times they've been in the Premier League, and it was like we'd won 4, drawn 1, lost none. I was like, well, you know what happens now, innit? You know what happens now, because it's just written that their first home win of the season would be against us. And the longer that game wasn't 0-0, I was like, wait for it. That train's never late. Charity Professional Football Club. I know it's on its way. And then I heard Mateta scored, and I was like, all right, maybe not, but I'm not going to say anything until full time. And then full time kicked in, and I said, weren't the best performance, but got the win. That's all that matters. Keep it moving. It don't matter how well we play, just get the dub. And we did that, so can't complain. But where was this in some of the away games this season? Everton for one of them. You're like, that was a game that we should have won. But we let ourselves down massively in Everton, took full advantage. But to bring it back to Ipswich, look, great 3 points. I saw the vlog. I was delighted with the way you guys enjoyed yourselves up there. Look, bloody cold, by the way. I was like, nah, screw that.
All I'm saying is if you saw the video that Rich put in the chat of Dan, Dan does feature in Access All Over ever so slightly.
Yeah, I saw it.
I wonder why he's jumping, because my man had a T-shirt and a rain jacket, and that's it. So we were both out there getting waved because you had to be waved, or it was going to be too cold, and my guy was jumping the whole half just to keep warm.
He did have about 10 pints, though, didn't he?
Oh yeah, we were waved. It was a long day.
Hey, but you got to be. I mean, I was there for the game before the Beast from the East hit with the Tottenham home game. Wan-Bissaka made his debut, and I was in the homestead for that, and I couldn't feel my feet afterwards. So I know how it feels, because I was like, are my feet frostbit? Because I couldn't feel them. So
The
I don't
worst
think it was
thing-
as bad.
You
as
know what?
that,
It's
but-
worse having your feet get cold than anything else in your body.
Oh, stop! That's the worst. And I know you were saying that, like, wet and cold feet. No. We won't go that far. But yeah, listen, massive 3 points against Ipswich. Badly needed win. Obviously, they're down there with us, but this is where my major criticism of the board kicks in. Why wasn't the manager backed? You've said it. I don't know how many times the Transfer Weekly chairman said it. I've said it. Richard said it. Nicky said it. We're all saying it. You know, we're seeing more and more people say it. But
Even with Nicky's ball knowledge, he even knows we need a fullback.
yeah,
That's mental.
I know, and you're seeing the Paris stands are starting to retract their defenses of him. I'm like, it's about time you lot realize the guy isn't infallible.
He was on our train actually on the way up to Ipswich.
Yeah, so I heard. Yeah, so I heard.
Last few comments. Animal is kind of cool seeing. It's a bit mad that you think it's cool people breathe.
Pause. What the hell? That's a bit wild.
Well, did you know that you only live for 2 minutes? Every time you breathe, you reset that 2 minutes. That's all I'm saying.
There you
There
go.
you go. That's a bit deep, isn't it?
It's true though.
It's a bit deep, though, isn't it?
Is zonal marking going to cost us dearly this season? It will cost us goals because it already has, but I don't think it will be the be all and end all, because there is scenarios where it does work. If you're playing against a team that isn't as physical, such as a Manchester City, zonal marking against them would work. But against Nottingham Forest, against Leicester, we should not be. Everton is probably the main one. We should never be zonal marking against them. We need to go man for man. I would always rather go man for man instead of zonal marking, but I can see why they do it, because if you block out all the key areas, then you can have other players in other positions to maybe get the rebound, other players to help in attack. You can see why it's done this way, but I don't think it's the most defensively sound thing to do. I think maybe for corners is probably my main gripe with zonal marking. I hate it. But like when you're defending and the ball's in play, I think zonal marking should go out of the window. And to be fair to Glasner, it does. I feel like we are we do zonally mark when we are in play, but the second that one of our defenders presses the ball, then everyone sort of starts to attach to another player. Let's say that they'll start to press other people. So a zonal marking is not going to cost us this season. It's going to cost us a few goals, but I don't think it's going to ruin our season. Let's say, because teams do it and it works sometimes. And other question: are we going to have to wait for the moment with Ebbs? But what if it doesn't come? What do you mean that moment?
I think he means where he actually performs for the whole game and actually starts to show the class that we know he can do.
To be fair, in my personal opinion, you guys can butt in if you want, but in my personal opinion, he was really rubbish. He's been really rubbish this season. He was good in the Brentford game, in the first game of the season, but I think that disallowed goal went to his head and rattled him, and he hasn't actually been the same since then. But when he came back, I think the first game, I think he was a bit dodgy. Glasner hacked him off early. The next game, he's played a little bit better. Glasner hacked him off again. And then in the Ipswich game, he did okay. And then in the second half, we started to see the Eze of old again. But Glasner still pulled him off for Devaney anyway. So I feel like the more that I wouldn't say pulling him off the pitch, but it's a statement to say, look, you may be our best player, or you were our best player, because I think someone else is at the moment. But you're not bigger than the club. You're not bigger than me, the manager. We do play slightly better attacking football with Devaney on the pitch. And I don't think that I'm that outrageous to say that. When he came off in those last few games, we've gone forward better. That might change because of the Ipswich game now, but I think that by doing that, you're making Eze fix up as you go. So hopefully, in the next game, maybe at home, that might be his moment, and then we can kick on from there. Because as you said earlier, the team's been playing better, the performances are better, so it could be the same thing. Nate has disappeared.
Yeah, but what I would say, just in things of that, is just answering the two questions in one. I'm not a great fan of zonal marking, but against Arsenal, we'll get killed zonal marking. We've got to pick up man for man, but it's not going to be zonal marking. It's going to cost us. It's going to be not putting the ball in the other net. That's where it's going to cost us. And we have to remember one thing, that Eze is not Zaha. When we were rubbish, Zaha he could actually drag the whole team on single-handedly and drive us forward. Eze's not that kind of player. And, he just needs to ease his way back in again. And I'm sure if the team played better, he will play better. He's that kind of player, isn't
he? Yeah, 100%. I've been chatting with a Frankfurt fan, and he said Glasner is very stubborn with his play style and tactics. We know this already.
Yep.
Ez was poor in the first half, but in the second. Two great passes to Mateta, where he was higher up the pitch, and he was slightly more central as well. So he was starting in a central position and pulled out wide to make the space for JP to run through the middle. So it was but that move was carbon copy of each other, and it was very well executed. And finally, poor, maybe harsh, but more underwhelming. Fair. Nate.
Yeah.
I alluded to earlier, I said maybe Eze is not our best player anymore, but the guy who's won Player of the Month 2 months in a row, Maxence Lacroix, does he deserve it?
100%. 100%. I mean, a lot of people were showing hate when Anderson was sold. It's the worst thing in the world, this, that, the other. He's an upgrade on Anderson. Yes, Anderson was a key part of how we played. Obviously, Anderson's diagonals were, intrinsic to our style of play, both under Vieira and it is, Lacroix been an absolute sensational signing, worth the money we paid. So, I can't sit here and say he doesn't deserve it, because he's been absolutely sensational at the back. When that first Lacroix hits, we will be there.
Mm-hmm. You're cutting out ever so slightly as well on your phone. Maybe if you try turning off the camera, the audio will pick up better. So you're not using the camera and the audio.
All right. Is that any better?
Yeah, it's much better, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
All right, yeah, that's cool.
Right, cool.
We'll just run it like this. Chairman, do you agree?
Absolutely. I mean, one thing, obviously, when we sit at home, we sit in the upper Holmesdale, so it's very hard to judge what's going on. But sitting at Ipswich and on the side, a little bit higher up, and especially when in the first half when we were defending in front of us, you can really see what he does, Lacroix on it, and how he marshals the back. His pace as well is like 5 yards, 0 to 5 yards is incredible. And even if someone's got a couple of yards head start and he gets back, he's great at tackling. He's looking up, and maybe he's passing not absolutely fantastic, but he's improving. He's still trying long passes, but he's there to defend, and he's been absolutely brilliant for a free transfer, isn't he?
He wasn't a free transfer, it was 14 mil. But still, that's a bargain.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a free transfer. But yeah, you're right.
Kamada was the free transfer.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, yeah.
Kamada's back next game.
Oh, wonderful. No, he's been brilliant. He probably deserves it.
Mm-hmm. And then the other one, Daniel Munoz, scored his first goal for the club. Very much needed goal. And he gets goal of the month, but that's the only goal he scored this month. So, personally, I think they should have given it to Jesse Derry, but, we move. But let's go and do a few more comments. Big up, Butter Boy. The moment was for Ebbs in the Spurs game, but then he got injured. He'll get his confidence back. The Quasar upgrade, and I think our passing in general has been due to a lack of confidence. Yeah, we've not been trying any risky passes forwards, really, have we? Animal Guza Simon, I still think Ez needs to be quicker to release the ball and also go forwards with the ball a lot more. He does like to dribble backwards quite a bit, doesn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
But, Nate, Man City's form hasn't been the best lately. What do you think has gone wrong with them?
You say stuff. They should be doing better.
Yeah, Nate, it's moving like Megatron again, even with the camera off.
They're gone, maybe.
I think is he gone?
He's speaking like Joe Biden now, isn't he? No one can understand what's going on.
Chairman, what's gone wrong with Man City?
I think it's one easy is the Ballon d'Or winner in midfield who actually runs their show from not being there, and literally everything goes through him. Roger, isn't it? It's I think if you have that one player that you build your whole team around him and everything runs through him, and all of a sudden he's gone for 3 months. What do I do now? What do I do? And probably another thing is actually I don't think it's working too well. Is it is Pep Guardiola. I think I know it's quite rotation, but when you look at people like Phil Foden, who was Player of the Year last year, and is barely getting a game. Jack Grealish, £100 million, barely getting a game. And you think, what's going on? And I think also the opposition have learned that you can't stop Erling Haaland scoring, but what you can do is stop the supply, and that's what a lot of people are doing. He's just not getting the supply now.
But even then, when he's having his chances, he's having to take, as you said, he's having to take them from bad angles because he's not getting the chances. But could that be nullified now that Kevin De Bruyne's back?
Well, of course,
the second he steps back in the team, they beat Forest 3-0.
Exactly. I think he's a class player, isn't he? I mean, you know that, and I know that, and I think his passing from long range will pick out Erling Haaland. It's like back in the old days with Beckham. He could pick somebody out from 40 yards, and De Bruyne is the same. It's going to be difficult. I mean, I wish he wasn't starting. I mean, maybe it's no coincidence that Man City's form has dropped since De Bruyne and Rodri's been out of the team. And I think. Don't think the keeper's playing either, is he?
No, Ederson's not been playing really very much, but I wouldn't put any of that on the keeper because I think Ortega's probably good enough to start for them anyway.
Yeah, what I mean is, Ederson, he lanes in with a load of assists as well, doesn't he? He kicks the ball 60 yards on a pinpoint. The other guy ain't doing that. He's a good goalkeeper, don't get me wrong, but again, it's all like little things that are breaking down Man City going forward.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's also a fact of maybe Guardiola's getting a bit stressed because there was a clip that went around of, I guess, a Scouser, mouthed off a little bit to Guardiola, and Guardiola lost his head. Like, he tried to go for him, and he had to get like the people he was walking it with or security. I don't exactly know who they were to like pull him back and keep him off him. Do you think that he's stressed or upset with the performances lately? And do you think that him maybe acting like that in public, how do you think he was acting in the changing rooms after this happened? Do you think maybe he's not inspiring the players and the players are thinking, oh, this guy was all calm and collected, now he's lost his head just after we've lost a few games? Do you think that would affect the players at all, or do you think as professionals they would just get on with it? Well,
I mean, you're right. I mean, as professionals they should get on with it, but they don't. I mean, pressure does weird things. I mean, you've seen only yesterday, wasn't it? Postecoglou having a row with the fans at Bournemouth, wasn't it? And we've seen fans having a go at Roy Hodgson and him turn back and have a go as well, isn't it? So when the team's not performing and you're not getting any results, pressure builds up and builds up and builds up. And I mean, you can just snap so easily. I'm pretty sure you're right. Whatever you see on the outside is 25 times worse in the changing room when there's no cameras around. But, I'm sure some players need to be shouted at, and some players need to be loved, and you get the best out of them. But if you can't seem to do anything right, you're shouting at everybody, and you really don't get the best out of anybody, do you?
Yeah, and also even when you watch that documentary, I would say even then he probably pulled back a bit because he knows there's cameras in there. What happens when there's no cameras in there? Because even when there was, he lost his rag quite a few times.
Yeah, very possible. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think? I know it's probably sounds like a silly question, but I've heard Sky Sports talk about it. Do you think that his job's under any threat at the moment?
It shouldn't be. I mean, they've won. Was it going for 4 or 5 times? The Premier League winners on the trot. So if anybody's job is safe having a bad run, it should be his. I know they spend a lot of money, but obviously, I suppose the problem is that when you're lacking confidence, maybe you've got a lot of injuries, and you are Man City, so you're in every cup competition, you're in the Champions League, and there's no time off, is there? It's game Saturday, Wednesday, and there's no time for the players to take a step back and just relax. And even when England are playing, most of their team go off, and like we have found lately, half the team have gone off to play for international duty. So there's no time for the players maybe to take a break or take stock or just do some training just to build confidence.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a spiral, isn't it? You've got to find a way out of spiral. Unfortunately, I think he might have found it yesterday or the day before yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Do you also think that with Rodri being out, it's sort of exposing other players in their team? And I say that because it's been happening for the last few years with Kyle Walker specifically. Like, we know his pace was slowing down a little bit, but ever since Rodri's gone or been injured, Kyle Walker just seems to be exposed completely now. Like, what do you think's gone on there, or do you think it's just a simple fact that he's getting old?
I think it's a little bit of both, really. I think. I mean, obviously, I don't watch Man City as much as anybody else does, and I can't really say. I mean, but if you take Man City's situation to like a Palace situation, and you look at the difference when Doucouré got injured and how the whole left of our midfield, isn't it? And it probably took 10 games before we sort of sorted it out, didn't it? But some players, when he plays so well like Doucouré was doing, and then he gets injured, and like Luton last year, badly injured, it's a bit of a shock to everybody. And I think probably Rodri's the same. Kyle Walker's still a good player, but he's undoubtedly his pace is going. And I saw a great stat yesterday of Jack Grealish. In the last 12 months, he's got 1 goal and 1 assist. You need
£100 million player.
Exactly. You need more out of that for that sort of player. But it's not solely down to him because Pep is not playing him, but still, players have got to perform, isn't it? And one player has a drop in form, he sort of drags other players down with him, doesn't it? And you know what defence is like. If one player is having a drop in form, it brings the whole defence down. Everyone's got to play top level to have a good defence. And, you take one great player in midfield, the whole midfield rubbish. One player in right back, the defence starts to drop. Because the opposition now, they've got so many videos. They look for your weaknesses and target them continuously. So it's very hard to get out of it.
Mm-hmm. And then, considering all of that, Kevin De Bruyne comes back, world-class player.
Absolutely.
And then against a good Forest team, they're doing really well in the league. They're 7th right now. They had a really good start. They're a very solid team. They come out and they win 3-0. Do you think that's maybe a turning point for them? Or do you think that's a blip of good form to mask all the cracks? Or what do you think is going on there?
I don't know what he did to maybe change formation or something like that.
I think for me, it was the simple fact of Kevin De Bruyne started.
Yeah,
and he actually got on the pitch.
Yeah, and he scored as well, didn't he? I think it's having a player like that come back in again. Again, using the Palace scenario, that the year we lost 7 games on a trot, on the 8th game, which just happened to be, was the hardest first game back, wasn't it? I mean, we beat Chelsea, and it's the same thing. When you get a world-class player come back, it must give the whole side a massive lift. It has to make them all play better.
And also, a world-class player makes everyone look so much better around them as well. Of
course it does, yeah,
and
absolutely.
You could tell last season, you had Michael Elise, Mateta was firing, Wharton was firing. Like, Will Hughes looked He looked like a
I know.
new man.
A revelation.
Daniel
absolutely.
Munoz, I know this is a long shot, but even Michael Elise being in the team made Nathaniel Klein look like an amazing centre back. The second we played him centre back this season, all over the place. Granted,
Yeah.
Glasner played him in the wrong position, but still.
You have to say that Klein came in at a really good time, didn't he? You know, the whole team was just absolutely oozing confidence. And we walked onto the field that last 10 games thinking we could beat anyone. And pretty much
We
7
did.
out of 10, we did beat everyone. Yeah, exactly. 6 out of the last 7 and 7 out of 10, wasn't it? So, you know, when a team's full of confidence, you can do anything, can't you? Really can. That's what sport's about, isn't it?
And Nate sort of alluded to it earlier with Man City having injuries. Oh. Fuck. I apologize. I'm an hour before curfew. Man City have injuries. So Rodrigo is out, Oscar Bob, Kovacic, John Stones, Akanji, Phil Foden, and Nathan Ake are all injured. Do you think this affects their team? Is my first question to you. And then my next question to you is, because their players don't really get injured too much and they've got such amazing depth, do you think that this could actually potentially be a bad thing for us? Because we're going to be playing against, I wouldn't say unknown players, but players that might not have played too much at Man City yet, but also players that have got something to prove, that they want to earn their right into the first team because their counterpart is injured.
Yeah, absolutely bang on. I totally agree with that.
So do you think they're going to play out of their skin?
No. I'll answer your first part of your question first. I mean, all the players you've listed there are injured, probably walk into most other Premiership sides for a start. And I know they've got good backup, but you have the best player in the world. But if he doesn't play any games, he's going to start fading away. But you're quite right. So all these other guys are looking at it thinking, if I have a good game now, they're all injured. I could get a run of 10 games now, Champions League or things like that. So, I mean, undoubtedly they're going to step up. No question about it. But you can't put a price on match fitness, and that's what they probably haven't got. But you know, I'm not saying that we're going to win by any way, shape, or form. But our defence is looking better by the game, and midfield looking better by the game. So I think we're quite capable of holding our own.
Mm-hmm. With you saying that our defence is looking better by the game, are you talking about everyone, or maybe Chalobah's lacking behind ever so slightly? And that's being very critical of him.
No, I think you're right there, and I think Glasner must know that, because obviously, if again going back to Ipswich, last 15 minutes you're defending, the last thing you really want to be doing is substituting defenders, isn't it? You want to keep the status quo and know what they're doing. But to take Chalobah off and bring Chris Richards on, who actually must have done okay because I didn't really notice him, suggests that, I think you said this last week, that Chalobah's got a bit of a clanger in him. He's like the new Mamadou Sakho, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
And he does sold some really poor passes.
And he had his clanger against Ipswich as well, right in front of us, didn't he?
Exactly.
He tried to pass it to Decore in the middle, and he literally just passed it straight to Liam Delap, right in front of him. You're thinking, mate, what are you doing?
But one thing he has got is height, and he's got a bit of pace about him as well. So, I mean, I'm not saying he's a bad player, but
when he wants to, he can dribble forwards with the ball and do pretty well with it. He just doesn't do it enough.
But generally, the weakest thing in our defence is Mitchell. For his going forward, but I actually thought he had a very, very good game on Tuesday night, and I thought Chalobah was, again, probably not, out of the 5 defenders, he was probably the poorest, but he wasn't that bad, don't get me wrong, but obviously Glasner must have seen something in him to substitute him.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back into the comments. Big up Tim. Simon, big up yourself, says, was it interesting what Mateta said to Amazon? He scored because Eze passed to him as soon as he turned. It was a great move. Mateta did some more lanky stepovers. Jacob Greaves fell to the floor, which was hilarious as well. But yeah, like as Simon said here, the second that Eze started moving the ball forwards quickly, we made a chance and we scored from it.
Absolutely.
Great dribbling from Mateta, great strength to, I guess, body him to the floor. And then the finish was good, but I would say that a better goalkeeper, I think, would save it, because I don't think a better goalkeeper will go to ground so quickly.
Sorry, JC, did you see what he said in his interview when he said about Henderson said to him, that Murray does go down too quickly. He actually said that to him. So if you get a chance, ship him. So
I didn't see that.
He was told by Henderson, Mateta, yeah.
Because I think the second we scored, after we finished celebrating, I said, I don't know why he went down so quick.
No.
But yeah, I think, as I said, a better goalkeeper would have stood up and then he would have caught it and made Mateta look like an idiot. But scored, who cares?
Absolutely.
Nate the Terminator. Nate sounded like Sly on. What's that? Am I showing my age here?
No idea.
I got no idea what that is. Big up Tiddles. Nate was moving wonky. Who should we be targeting? Walker, Gvardiol. I think that they've got a great team. I think that the main thing that we got to look for is probably Gundogan, because he hasn't been the same or anywhere near the player he was when he left City. Now he's come back, he just seems to be a little bit older, a little bit worse, a little bit slower, a little bit weaker. Doesn't seem to be the same kind of guy. Maybe Walker, but I don't think I think even though Walker's losing pace and confidence, unless Sarr plays on the other side, we're not beating Walker for pace. Eze definitely isn't beating Walker for pace. KDB always turns up against us.
Yeah, bang on.
Yes, he does. Too bad we don't have punching to try and injure him again, because that was hilarious, wasn't it? Because punching injured himself while trying to injure De Bruyne, and De Bruyne just ran past him. De Bruyne scored an absolute worldie on us last year.
Yeah.
Another thing, the Frankfurt fans said they all knew Kamada's best position was playing in a 10, but Gazner persisted playing him in the 8, and it wasn't working. Sound familiar? Very, very, very familiar. And Tim says, I guess it's a US sci-fi thing called Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I know what he's going on about now. It's like a little silver robot thing, isn't it?
I've got no idea.
No, it's back in the 70s, 80s. I think it was a long time ago.
20 years before I existed.
Exactly.
Question from Tim: How much credit with the players do you think How much credit with the players do you think Glasner has? Feels like that run down the touchline versus Newcastle to celebrate was an amazing moment. Jeremy, you can answer that one.
Cheers. I think he's right. Actually, I think it was a massive.
I think it was a relief.
It was exactly relief off his shoulders, and it looks great, doesn't it? Because even when the fans see the manager running down and jumping in with the players, even though he's going to get booked, but he don't care, does he? And he said afterwards he'll do it again. It's not a problem. But yeah, I totally agree with it. It does seem like that last-minute goal was probably the turning point, wasn't it? That we can start to get results now, isn't it? Because before Newcastle, we were looking at the fixtures again, where are we going to get a point from? But then, agreed, probably should have had it sewn up by now. We got a point from nothing, and as I said, yeah, he looked brilliant, didn't he? So maybe,
and he also did his hamstring.
One thing I would say is that the players and the managers still seem to be together, don't they? It's not like them and us situation. It seems to be like a collective fighting spirit there, which is what you want to see, isn't it?
And also with I think it was Will Hughes. No, I think it was Schlupp actually. He had an interview after the game on Palace TV, and the interviewer said, "No, it was Mark. It was Mark." And they said, "Oh, was you surprised to see your manager in the celebrations?" He went, "No, not at all. I'm surprised he's not in all of them." So that must show that he's, well, we already know he's clearly a very, very passionate manager, and 2, he's not afraid to show it, and there must be a great relationship between him and the players.
Absolutely. Bang on,
yeah. Big up Kyle. He says, for the players that were here for Roy, you have to imagine they love playing for Glasner. They must do. Attacking football from rubbish football.
I mean, to be fair, Glasner came in and just, Roy did a job, and let's not forget that. And I'll always respect Roy. He did a job for us. We also had a dire situation.
Twice.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. And he had not, obviously the first time he did have the players. The second time he had the players, but it was all injured. So he had to do what he had to do. But when Glasner came in, he sort of like took the shackles off and said, go forward, enjoy yourself. And that really, all of a sudden, Mateta, Eze and Elise just sprung to life, didn't they? And that looked so great, wasn't it?
Yeah. Let's do a combined 11. Obviously, we're not City fans, so we're not gonna know everything. But I think we'll probably go with a 4-2-3-1 so you can get as many attackers in there as possible. Chairman will do this. I guess I do one, you do one.
Yeah, if you want to.
I'll start with the goal. Remember, we already know this, but just for everyone to know, there has to be at least 3 Palace players in here, so you can't build a full Man City team, even though we would like to. We have to have at least 3 Palace players in there. I think what I will do this time is normally we just say injuries don't matter, but I think because Rodri's out and that is such a big injury, I would actually say let's only do the fit players.
Okay.
So in goal, I would go with Ederson because he is fit.
He is fit, is he?
He is fit. He's just not getting played.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I thought he was injured.
Who would be your left back?
It's between Mitchell and Garviel, isn't it?
Yeah.
I have to say Garviel. Good.
Mm-hmm. So apart from Akanji, Stones, and Ake, who are their centre backs?
Well, that's the thing.
Ruben Diaz is one, but I have a hot take that I think he's extremely overrated.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Who else plays centre back for them?
Well, you're right. I mean, it's normally Akanji and Ake, isn't it?
Yeah, or it's normally Akanji and Diaz, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Max Edison's got to be in there, isn't he?
Yeah, 100%. But I would want to put him on the right, though. Let me have a quick look at who Man City actually have in the squad. Please put in the comments as well, guys, because I am having a moment. I can't remember who their centre backs are. They could play Gvardiol at centre back.
He plays left back normally, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, I suppose you would say it'll be Diaz and Lacroix, because I think Akanji's injured, isn't he?
Yeah, but Diaz also plays on the right, though.
Yeah, so
who cares? Just put them both on.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lacroix and Diaz. I think even though Kyle Walker's on his way down, he's still a great player.
He is, yeah.
But
definitely.
I think if you're looking at this season, I put Rico Lewis in.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. He's getting for England as well, isn't he? So it's not only for Man City.
Yeah. Chairman, who would you put in the middle? And remember that Rodri's injured.
That's a hard one, isn't it? Because I'm not sure really. And we're saying about injuries, aren't we? We're not counting injured players, are we?
No, so we're doing it twice. So we're going through one time with where the people that are on this pitch are fit to play.
So who's the 2 centre midfielders for Man City at the moment?
So who played in their last game in central midfield was Gundogan, Bernardo Silva, and Kevin De Bruyne. But I wouldn't put De Bruyne this deep.
No. I would say.
I think to make it easy for us, I'll put De Bruyne here.
Yeah, and he might have put Haaland up front as well, mine. Yeah. So.
No boom boom.
He's brilliant, but
I mean, to be fair, Mateta's got more goals than Haaland in the last 2 games.
Well, yeah, but in the last year, he's outscoring everybody, isn't he? I would say personally, one of them, I'm putting Bernardo. I would like him actually. I think Bernardo was a very good player as one of the centre midfielders. And yeah, I'll let you choose that one.
It's got to be Decore.
Yeah.
Bernardo Silva's not for me. Bernardo Silva's best position is there by a country mile. His best position's here.
Yeah,
but he has to sort of go here.
But they've been playing full Foden out there, haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to do it like this, it'll be so De Bruyne's a 10 and he's like an 8. So I do it like that. Let's say that. 'Cause I feel a bit more comfortable because him as a DM is a car crash waiting to happen. So
Yeah,
6, 8, 10.
Yeah.
We need at least one more Palace player in here.
Well, probably if you say if you go the last couple of games, you've got to say that Sar's been up there, isn't he?
Yeah. But
So, yeah.
is he better than Doku?
But Doku can plan the.
Is he better than Grealish? Actually, you know what?
Grealish is not playing, but you could put Doku on the left and Sarr on the right.
And Sarr on the right.
It's quite amazing we even discussing it because normally it's their whole team and we just got to find something to put in, isn't it?
You know what?
Go 4-3-3.
That is an extremely fast front line, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. It's frighteningly fast, isn't it? It really is, yeah. And it's decent pace at the back as well. I mean, Lacroix's is no slouch. Lewis is no slouch. Guardiola's no slouch. So
yeah, but Diaz is bloody slow.
I know, but he makes up for the rest of them with lack of pace, doesn't he?
Yeah. All right. Let's go back through this.
Yeah.
Still with 3 Palace players.
Yeah.
Where everyone's fit.
Okay.
And check Decore. You've got a midfield partner.
Yeah. Adam Walton would walk in there. I know that would be Rodri, wouldn't it?
Sorry. Adam Walton.
Yeah, no, sorry, I forgot that. No, I thought Adam Walton was brilliant last year, personally.
Yeah, there's a conversation to be had whether it is Decore or Walton.
Very possible, yeah, absolutely. If you take them both in their prime, i.e. Decore last year before he got injured, then you say, yeah, Decore, didn't you?
Yeah, because he literally did 3 guys midfield role in one. Because he was playing midfield with Schlupp and
it was all
Gallagher.
sorts of people.
Gallagher was just running away from him the whole time.
I know, yeah, exactly, yeah.
We had no
his own, didn't he? And notice that Eze doesn't get in his team, does he?
No. You know what? I think that's probably the only change I'd actually make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I actually think that would be the only change I'd make. I'd just put Rodri in for Silva.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Phil Foden wouldn't get in there.
Phil Foden wouldn't get in instead of Doku. Savinho's been okay, but he wouldn't get in over them. Kyle Walker, I wouldn't put him in here. Nunes, I don't think he's good enough for Man City, if I'm honest.
Don't play enough games.
Yeah, I would say that, if I'm really honest.
Yeah.
Cool. So the Ballon d'Or winner does get into the Palace combined 11. Don't you worry. Back into the comments, Tim. I agree with that. Chairman seems like there's a togetherness and fight, which counts for a lot. Need to run to it. Aaron, thanks for the stream. Up the Palace. Big up Tim. Big up Damo. Animal said earlier. Diaz and Akanji. Animal here said thoughts on Decore's first half performance versus Ipswich. That's a good question, actually. He should have been sent off a few times.
It was, at some points, it was frightening, wasn't it?
I'm very happy he came off at half-time. I'll say that. Very, very happy.
So that tells you that. And I've got to say that it wasn't the fact that he wasn't playing well and he was maybe getting frustrated and he got booked and then he should have got booked, shouldn't he? When they had a break and he sort of like...
He sort of put a foot in, but it was a lazy foot in, wasn't it? He sort of left it.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the referee took pity on him, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah. Tiddles here says Ballon d'Or winner doesn't get in. Rip Mateus França. I really hope that he can get fit and he starts playing, because I don't know whether this is one of them things of like you just sort of forget how they are as a player. But I saw a clip of him versus Man City where he killed Kyle Walker.
Oh, absolutely.
I saw some clips of him when he came on against Newcastle, and I saw the clips of him against Burnley last year where he got the penalty and he got an assist. So he got 2 assists in one game, really. And I thought, you know what? he actually looked really good in those clips.
And don't forget when we nearly went to Newcastle and we were rubbish. But when he came on, he played really well, literally on his own in midfield, didn't he? As a 10, didn't he? So when he has come on, he's looked promising, but just not seen enough of him.
I think his growth was stumped by Roy so much.
Massively.
And the second that Glasner came in, when he was fit, he's playing and trying to give him minutes.
Right,
so I really hope França comes back because he's a great little player. You could tell there's tons of talent there. I just want him to stay fit because you know what we're trying to do. Kamada was meant to be that make weight to let França get into the team.
Yeah.
Because the plan was keep Michael, let Eze go. Kamada can be the make weight. França's the guy for the future, but França's just he just can't stay fit.
No, he really can't.
Which is unfortunate. I know he will. He's a great player already, and I know he was going to come good, but
he's young, isn't he?
That time's not now.
Yeah.
And how many times have we seen teenage? Like what is he? I think he's still only 20. Like he's still got loads of years left to go.
Absolutely.
Big up Rich. He is at a Christmas party. I know that he would rather be here talking about Palace.
Of course he would.
That's all I'm saying. He would rather be here. He gets some big ups. He is listening in, even though he's there, which proves my point. He'd rather be here. Lads, I make a change to that second lineup. Diaz off for Gay. Sarr off for Silva. What do you reckon? I would keep Sarr on, but I might actually change Gay because I think that's actually a good shout.
It is a very good shout.
I don't think Silva's been too good this year, but I think Sarr's really come into his own. He looked so bright when he played under Glasner. Would have been amazing. Huge levels of improvement as well. Yeah, he's made a huge change. When's he meant to be back? Who?
French, you're talking about, I think. I have no idea.
I'll check preminjuries.com, but every time I check, his date goes back slightly. I'm sure that it's so his potential return date is New Year's Day.
Okay.
But the potential return date before that was October sometime, so it just gets pushed back and back and back and back. My guess is that, my theory is that they're going to get him fit, and they're just going to let him train until he's trained for like a month, but without getting an injury, and then they'll put him in the squad. So that's what I would do. I'd keep him away from the squad, from the games. I wouldn't even put him on the bench. I'd just keep him away from the games until he's 100%.
Absolutely. Build the strength up.
Final comment. Rich says, thoughts on Romain Esse? I think that it's a good move if you can get him for the right kind of price. I do like how we're looking to buy and then loan him back for the rest of the season because he's probably not going to get into our team right now. I don't think. Because he's still very young, very raw talent. He's like one of them players that has a very, very good game every so often. He's not very he's a good player, not consistent. That doesn't really get consistent game time at Millwall this season either. So I think that's probably the right thing to do. Take him in, send him back, let him finish his season, and then decide what to do with him. The only issue I see with it is if we're looking at an attacking player now, if we buy someone, where does that leave Jez? Where does that leave Esse next season? Where does that leave that new player? Where does it leave Sarr? So if you buy one player in this January and then you buy him as well, so if you get a starter now and then you get him, and then next season you got Jez and then you've got Sarr as well, then you've got 4 people for one position, and you can say, oh, maybe put Sarr up front. Okay, cool. You still got 3 people for one position, and then you have França as well. Then you have too many people. I don't know. I think he's a great player, great talent. Unless we're going to loan him again to maybe a team that might get promoted into the Premier League from the Championship next season, then maybe prolong that for another year. I don't know. I think it's a good acquisition of talent, but is he going to play? I don't know. But yeah,
I think the talk is it's going to be
next season.
I think the talk is it's 12 million, isn't it? And with a loan back deal, but he, as you said earlier, he's younger than Jez, so Is he tearing up the Championship like Jez? Don't think so. Does he play regularly for Millwall? Not really. So if we're buying him for the future, then okay, fine. But I don't think he would like that. I don't think he would want to come to Palace if knowing full well that he could be third stroke fourth in line for his so-called favourite position.
Yeah. Yeah, and then Simon here says, I think we're selling Jez. I don't know. I'd like to see Jez play because when he has actually played for us in the first team, he's looked quite good. He's actually looked very good. However, whenever I've watched him in the youth team, I thought he was rubbish.
Yeah, every time we've seen him, he's been absolutely awful. I think the question to be asked is, Sheffield United are top of the league at the moment, aren't they? He's doing very well. Very similar situation to Omari Hutchinson last year. Supposing Sheffield United win the league and offer us 20 million.
They said they offer us the exact same money that they bought Omari for, 20 million. Would you take that for Jez?
Well, I mean, he's unproven at championship level, at Premiership level, isn't he? And it's a lot of money. So, I mean, is a club like Palace, can we afford to say, no, we're going to turn it down just in case it doesn't make it? It doesn't really matter. Or do we get the money and try to strengthen other places? It's a big question, isn't it?
It's a big question, but it's one of the ones where you know he's got talent and you know that there's a player there that can be worth a lot more than that £20 million. But what I would say is, Chairman, do you think that Jez Ratsaki has got more long-term talent than Matheus França? Because if we sell him for 20 million, you pay off França.
Yeah.
So
it's a very hard question to ask. And the honest reason is I've just not seen enough of França to make an informed decision. Little 10 minutes here and there. But we have seen, we've been to youth team games and we have seen Jez play 60, 70 minutes and he really hasn't shone.
But whenever he played in the Premier League, he actually looked very good.
He did, absolutely, yeah.
And in pre-season as well, very, very good.
I think we owe it to Jez to give him a shot in the first team, didn't we? You know, even if you because we did even take him to America last year too, didn't we? So he needs to play. And the fact that the transfer window is not until the end of August, you could actually probably get 3 or 4 games and see what it's like. But I'm guessing the question's going to be, if Sheffield United get promoted, they're going to want to keep him. And then if they make us an offer we can't really turn down, then that's the question to be answered by Glasgow. I'm not sure how this is going to play out, to be honest with you.
I agree. It's one of them things where we have to see what the price is and then you have to make a decision on that. But if the price, like, let's just say the price doesn't, like, no price, just say, would you let him go? I'd say no. I'd like as much depth as possible in our team. Because let's say that we do that, then we have, I guess, a play. Let's say we buy a first team right wing now. Yeah. Him, Jez, Essie. That's 3 great players in one position. You probably send Essie out on loan to a similar place like Sheffield United to get that promotion season. Let's say he's already had a season with Millwall. Get him a team higher up in the table slightly. A little slightly different experience in the Championship. So that's 1 gone. Then you got 2. That's enough depth for there. I think. And then you probably say, okay, we'll move Sarr to a backup up top. And then you say, okay, well, França can move over to that left-hand side. Then you've got a very good squad depth up front instantly, don't you? So that's probably what I would say.
I would sort of say something slightly different to that. I don't think Palace is the kind of team to spend £12 million on a player and move them out on loan again. I think we need to play them. And here's a question for you. But if maybe Jess wants to go, maybe he sees his future somewhere else, maybe he gets more game time somewhere else. But if we are going to say, no, Jess, we're going to give you game time, who would you rather have, Jez or Esse? And maybe people in the chat, you say what you think as well. I know who I would stick with.
I'd stick with Jez.
Absolutely.
Personally. But if Esse is available for not a lot of money, and if Palace are maybe thinking of making a move like getting him and then loaning him out and then seeing him as a 2-year prospect instead of instant thing, and we're comfortable, I guess, with throwing 12 million away for a season and then him coming back again. If we're actually looking to make those kind of moves now, then I think that's really the best case scenario for SE if we're 100% in on getting him.
Yeah, absolutely. I think if you're going to go for it, then you've got to sell him a bit of a dream, because you can't take him out and say, yeah, you might sit on the bench and get 5 minutes here and there. You've got to be giving him game time. But then the thing with that is you've got to be giving France a game time as well, isn't it? Because you want him. He's a £20 million kid, isn't he? As opposed to a £12 million kid. And we know that Championship and Premiership is a monumental difference, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
But saying that, though, Wharton cruised it, didn't he? Walked straight out of the Championship, not even the top Championship side, a middling one, and came to Palace in 10 games. Got a ding in the seat. He was that good. So it can be done. Now, they may see something in SA they don't see in Jess. I don't know. And as Simon, I think, said earlier, maybe Jess wants to go. Maybe he sees his future somewhere else, where if he goes to a slightly lesser team, he'll get more game time. I don't know. We just don't know what goes on.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a conversation we could actually... I think, when's the next international break? February. I think it's probably a good conversation to have around then, because by then we'd know if we got SA and loaned him back, then it'll be, and it'll be further along the Championship season. So we'll probably actually have a much better talking points and a lot more information on what's actually happening. Let's go through the last few comments. No, I was late. Can't wait for tomorrow. I think we're selling Jez. The way Glasner said he didn't want to play. Now he wanted him. Means we'll sell him for profit. SA will be our attacking signing for January, or he is a plus. That's a different way of looking at it, but I think by saying he is our attacking signing of the January window, I think that means that someone we're gonna get in and play. I think probably if you're looking at it like that, maybe our attacking signing might be a 6-month loan. That's probably another way that you could maybe get around it, because I think you can still loan one player. I think you can have 3 loans total, can't you? You can have 2 within the Premier League and then 1 outside.
Yeah.
So our attacking signing, like just as a long shot, it could be loaning Marcus Edwards for 6 months because he isn't playing at Sporting at all. So that could be something like another way we could look into. Loan him into a team which gets promoted. He'll need for Palace. If he needed for Palace in the Championship. Lol, but maybe gotta be Jez. Should have got a number 11 after Wilf, in my opinion. I don't think the number 11 ever should have been given to France. I think that was just too much. Even though it's a number, I think it's too much of a statement of a number as well. But maybe that was part of the negotiations to actually get França, because Chelsea wanted him, Real Madrid wanted him, loads of teams wanted him, so maybe that was part of our bargaining chip. Both have physicality concerns for me. Both built like breadsticks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jez and SC, I mean, yeah, Jez is bulking up in the Championship, and I'm sure that SC is as well. But they're both young guys. They need to have a few years in the gym. But to round out, Chairman, going back to Manchester City. After everything we've spoken about today with their injuries, how they're playing, how their manager is, with their recent form against Forest, Kevin De Bruyne being back, what is your score prediction?
I think we'll go the same as we did with Villa away. I think we'll go the 2 up front and we'll play 3 holding midfielders. I think we'll sit a bit deeper, and I'm hoping and praying for a 1-1 draw.
Okay, I'm gonna stick with what I said on Tactical. I think it's going to be a 2-1 win for Manchester City. Normally, you know what? If this was actually at the Etihad, I would have sent a draw, because I think we're actually quite good at the Etihad.
We are. You've got a better record against them there. We have at home, no question.
Yeah, so I think we would play better there actually. So I would say 2-1 to Man City, because at home, yes, we have had good performances against them. We have had a few good draws against them, but I don't actually remember us beating them at home. And we always seem to play better against them away. So yeah, 2-1 Man City. I think that's pretty fair. And also with their upturn in form, I think that's what's going to happen. Animal says 2-2. Simon says 2-1 Palace. He's going for a Palace win. Tiddles is agreeing with you, Chairman. And it's in the air. You know what? If I said 2-1 City in the predictions and 2-1 Palace comes in, I do not care about the predictions whatsoever.
I mean, to be fair, I know we've never been disgraced by them at home. I mean, I remember with Punching, we won 2-1, isn't it? And do you remember Luca missed a last-minute penalty? And
that would have been to beat their unbeaten streak, wouldn't it?
Exactly.
Of like 50 games.
You know, we've never done badly against them. I think, we lost something that was 3-1 last year.
You know what? To be fair, there has been one time where they've desecrated us, but that's because of Yaya Toure.
Oh, yeah, it was a masterclass, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a masterclass.
But even though the result was only 2-0, I think, they absolutely destroyed us because of Yaya Toure.
Yeah. But we've got to do what Roy used to say, isn't it? You got to stay in the game, ain't you? You got to play tight, get into that second half, and then if you're as long as only 1 or 2 goals down, you got a chance in it. Which is what happened last year, wasn't it? We did nothing for like 75 minutes. They had 2-0 up. They'd virtually given up. Brought França on, got back 2-2, and nearly won it. And you think, how's that impossible? But
also, David Oza had a very good game there as well.
Absolutely. That's put him on the map, didn't it? Actually.
Yeah. Damo 2-0 Palace, and we beat them at the Etihad with a Townsend screamer.
And 3-1. Remember with was it 3-2? Wasn't it? Remember we Lucas scored a penalty.
3-2 that was.
Yeah, and then we was up there. We won 2-0. So
yeah. So my memory, I remember us beating them twice there, and I only remember us beating them once at home.
Yeah, 3. I can remember 3 times there. Yeah. And a draw thrown in the middle of that. Mind you, I can also remember 4 and 5-0 defeat, mind you, but hey ho.
We remember the good times.
Always remember
the good times. Even though the bad times seem to stick a little bit more, we still remember the good times. But guys, thank you very, very much for watching. This stream has run over by about 7 minutes, but 30 people in here right now. Thank you very, very much for watching. Chairman, anything else to say?
No, just hope and pray, and if we get a result tomorrow, it'll be the best weekend ever, won't it? So yeah.
Up the Palace.
Always up the Palace.
Eagles.